I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. A New York State judge granted a devastating preliminary injunction order against Donald Trump, requiring that an independent monitor be placed within the Trump organization to monitor all of Donald Trump's financial filings, his financial representations made to third parties, including lenders, insurers, whoever, and to report back to the court if Trump is engaged in any financial malfeasance. The New York State court judge found that Donald Trump was engaged in ongoing fraudulent conduct in making the order. I will go over the bit of that order more in a little bit. But first, I want to read Donald Trump's deranged statement that he has made in response to the order by this New York judge. It's Judge Arthur Engoron. He was previously a target of Donald Trump's prior social media posts before this hearing, where Trump called the judge a communist and called him all of these names and all of these threats that were hurled the way of the judge overseeing this case. This is the judge, of course, overseeing the case filed by Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, who brought the fraud lawsuit against Donald Trump and the Trump Organization, seeking at least $250 million in damages to be disgorged to the state for fraudulent financial valuations by Trump and his adult children, that they overinflated the valuations of their properties to lenders and insurers and third parties to get improper benefits. Let me read now the statement that was issued by Trump in response to this order, a devastating order, a preliminary injunction requiring the appointment of an independent monitor. Here's what Trump said. He says, "A puppet judge of the New York Attorney General and other sworn enemies of President Trump and the Republican Party has just issued a ruling never before seen anywhere in America. It is communism come to our shores. Businesses will be fleeing New York, which they already are, for other states and other countries. Today's ridiculous ruling by a politically motivated, hand-picked judge makes it even more vital for courts in both New York and Florida to do the right thing and stop this inquisition. We have to fight back against radical tyranny and save our country," with an exclamation point. So where do I start? Do I start with Donald Trump threatening the judge overseeing his case? Again, could start there, how reprehensible that is. Or should I next discuss the fact that literally everything that Donald Trump says here is false and disparaging and just horrific, to attack a judge like this, to attack anyone like this, but especially here, the judge overseeing the case, calling him a puppet judge of the New York Attorney General? He's not a puppet judge of the New York Attorney General. Judge Arthur Engoron is a well-respected judge in New York who rules on business disputes every day, and where businesses are found to have engaged in criminal conduct and fraud, one of the remedies is an independent monitor. A harsher remedy, which could have been issued, which has not been issued yet, but which occurs all the time, is the placement of a receiver to take over, literally, to take over the company that is engaged in ongoing criminal conduct and fraud, to stop the fraud from being committed. But also, Donald Trump, you had the opportunity in this case, in the special proceeding that led to this lawsuit, to tell the facts, to rebut the evidence that was brought against you in the lawsuit, as well as in the preliminary injunction filed by the New York Attorney General. In fact, you were questioned under oath regarding the SFC's, the Statement of Financial Conditions, that you filled out. And you were specifically asked, why was it that an appraiser appraised your triplex at this dollar, yet you claimed that your triplex, which was 11,000 square feet in Trump Tower, you lied. You said it was 33,000 square feet, and claimed that its value was somewhere in the range of $350 million, which is about $200 million more than the most expensive apartment at all in New York when it was appraised at far less. Or we could pick another example. How about those 12 apartments that you claimed were valued at $50 million? But you know what the appraiser said their value was? $750,000. Or how about other properties which you claimed were valued at like $500 million, which is $300 to $400 million more than what the appraisers came in at? Or how about that you valued Mar-a-Lago somewhere in the range of $350 to $700 million, where there were so many encumbrances on it and it could only be used as a club that it couldn't sell for the prices that you put on it, based on the fact that you gave a very special designation to Mar-a-Lago so that you did not have to actually pay the taxes there. But when you were asked this question repeatedly, you took the Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment when you were asked about it. Also, as the judge pointed out in his ruling today, you did not put forward one iota, and I'm directly quoting the judge here. You did not put forward one iota of evidence, like nothing. You didn't put forward documents to rebut the facts and affidavits that were being shown by the New York Attorney General. You chose not to do that. Instead, you had your lawyer, Christopher Keiss, make an argument to the judge that this is a communist takeover of a private business and this is a nationalization of a private business. And the judge said, come on, where's your facts? Where is your evidence to rebut the declarations filed? In all of these cases, the way you could have prevailed and the way you could have had an argument is if you showed that the valuations are what you claim them to be, or you put forward your own declaration where you explained why you were providing this valuation. That's not what you did. Instead, one of your defenses was that Tish James had no jurisdiction in the first place. So you raised a jurisdictional defense and said Tish James had no right to even bring this case. There's no law that allows her to bring this case. And the court pointed out there literally is. It's called New York Executive Law, Section 63-12, which literally says the Office of Attorney General can bring a lawsuit like this, and it provides for jurisdiction. So your BS jurisdiction argument was rejected. Now, the next argument you tried to make was not to actually justify your valuations. Let's just look at literally what you argued. You argued that based on the disclaimer that you put in these financial documents, that the third parties that you lied to and defrauded should not have relied on you at all, that the disclaimers prevented them from being defrauded by you. But here's what your disclaimers say, and this is what the court pointed out. It goes, the relevant language that was included by Trump's accounting firm that Trump points to, Meiselas, states as follows, quote, and this is what they would send to the lenders and insurers and third parties when they would lie to them about the valuations. We have compiled the accompanying statement of financial condition of Donald J. Trump as of whatever the date. We have not audited or reviewed the accompanying financial statement and accordingly do not express an opinion or provide any assurance about whether the financial statement is in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Donald J. Trump is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statement in accordance with the accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America, and for designing, implementing, and maintaining internal control relevant to the preparation and fair presentation of financial statements. Common sense, and the court says, why in that world would that disclaimer, in your mind, Donald Trump, give you immunity from defrauding third parties? The only person or group that says that it's not making the representation of the accuracy is your former accounting firm, Meiselas. And they're saying that you're the one who told them about the accuracy of this information. So why would that immunize you? And this is what the court said. The court said that these statements of financial conditions serve an important function in the real world, allowing blanket disclaimers to insulate liars from liability would completely undercut that function. I love that the judge called Donald Trump a liar there as well. One of the other things in granting the preliminary injunction that the judge pointed out, in addition to the valuations and the fraudulent representations Trump made in very specific detail, which Trump didn't rebut. But one part that I liked is where the judge focused on Donald Trump Jr.'s disclaimer of responsibility for the statement of financial conditions accuracy. And the judge goes on to say that Don Trump Jr., who's a senior executive at the Trump Organization and trustee of the Trump Revocable Trust, which was responsible for certifying the financial accuracy to banks and other institutions, personally signed the representation letters to the accounting firm Meiselas on each statement of engagement, saying, "We acknowledge our responsibility and have fulfilled our responsibilities for the preparation and fair presentation of the personal financial statements in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America." But here's where it gets good. It goes, notwithstanding this representation, when Don Jr. testified at his deposition, he said that he had no knowledge of how generally accepted accounting principles work outside of Accounting 101 in his college Wharton, and he had no knowledge as GAAP relates to what it was for and what it means for somebody gauging the accuracy, and he has no real involvement in the preparation of statement of financial conditions. Yet he was the one who signed off on it. But Don Jr. testified under oath, and we have his under oath testimony right there. Then what I thought was another very powerful statement by the judge, though, as well, is where the judge says, "In the absence of an injunction, and given defendants' demonstrated propensity to engage in persistent fraud, failure to grant such an injunction could result in extreme prejudice to the people of New York. Further, the relief sought is appropriately tailored to curbing unlawful conduct and ensuring that funds are available for potential disgorgement at the conclusion of the case, where the judge finds that the New York Attorney General will have a probability of success on the merits." And then here's one final line I'll give you from this order, which is why Trump is also livid right now and stewing right now. "Furthermore, given the persistent misrepresentations throughout every one of Mr. Trump's statement of financial conditions, every one, between 2011 and 2021, this court finds the appointment of an independent monitor is the most prudent and narrowly tailored mechanism to ensure there is no further fraud or illegality that's taking place." Wow. That is why Donald Trump wrote that statement. But this was a very specific and detailed finding by the judge, and Trump had the ability to rebut it. He could have done his own declaration. He could have had his son submit a declaration. He could have had people at the organization submit declarations about the valuation. They could have hired an expert. That's what people do in court literally every day. People don't lose the case by submitting no evidence and then go on social media and whine about it and go, "Oh, I lost because the judge is a communist and he's going after me." No, that is what mad people do. That is what horrific, disgusting criminals do. That's not how normal litigants act. And that is exactly how Donald Trump is acting here with that statement. No evidence. He pleads the Fifth. He invokes his Fifth Amendment. No declarations, no expert testimony, no affidavits, just his lawyer, Christopher Kise, who, by the way, the ultimate irony of this too, Christopher Kise, his lawyer, who was paid $3 million from the Save American organization that Trump grifted off of donors. Christopher Kise filed documents under the Foreign Agent Relations Act or the Registered Foreign Agents Act, saying that he was a Venezuelan foreign agent for the Maduro regime. And so a foreign agent for the Maduro regime is in New York, the epicenter of actually a capitalist financial system, and is arguing that stopping the fraudulent conduct by simply having an independent monitor show up is like Venezuelan dictatorship. I mean, can you believe that that's where they're going? But that's gaslighting. That's MAGA extremism. But now you're armed with the facts. You're armed with the details. You know specifically that Donald Trump could have submitted affidavits and he didn't. He could have testified and he didn't. He could have had other people submit affidavits and he didn't. He could have got expert testimony and he didn't. He did nothing but send his lawyer to whine and complain and talk about communism and all of the other weird stuff, not address the issues. He lost. Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, put in facts, details, which the judge pointed to in his ruling. We've got testimony that Don Jr., who signed off, doesn't even know about generally approved accounting principles and standards. It's unbelievable. Those are the facts, folks. And I love that Donald Trump is spiraling right now. I don't know about you. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hey, hit the subscribe button now. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your support. And also, if you want to support this independent media platform, we would so appreciate it if you could. Go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. There are a number of membership packages for you to join there with exclusive behind-the-scenes content, exclusive podcast, exclusive merch drops, so much more stuff there. But most importantly, it helps grow this platform, and we would so appreciate it if you can. No worries either way, but if you can, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.